And welcome to another episode of the Get Back Coach, presented by Apollo Media. Today, we are talking Group of Five, and there's no one better to talk about the Group of Five than Matt Sprouse from the Group of Five guys. Matt, welcome back, reoccurring guest. There is no better place to get your Group of Five knowledge for college football than you guys.
Gentlemen, it is great to be back. I feel like last year Jay was not with us when we did it, Jake. I think
Possibly.
Was it maybe 2 years ago?
Maybe
yeah,
2
or
years
it could
ago.
yeah.
I might be completely making that up, but it's good to be back, gentlemen.
No, it's
Listen, we all played a little bit of college football, so you have to forgive us for some, possible head injuries, things that could have occurred that may have lessened our memories.
That could be, yeah. Yeah, I'll use that excuse for anything I'm wrong about tonight also. So,
I mean, no better excuse than that. So this is how it's going to go. We are going to go through all five of the Group of Five conferences, tell you who the contenders are, and then give you guys a surprise team for each. So we all should have a surprise team lined up. So let's get started. We're going to go in alphabetical order. So we're going to start with the American Conference. And kind of before we get into it, Matt, the new mascot of the American Conference. How do we feel about a conference mascot?
you got everybody talking about the American for a little bit, didn't it?
It did. So maybe it did its job.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't. Tim Pernetti's been awesome to us, the commissioner of the American, by the way, and they've got a hell of a conference. At all their media days, I did notice the American. See, they always used to say the Power Six, if you remember, back when UCF and Cincinnati were running around, and they've shifted to now they're calling it the Group of Six, and they're forcing the Pac, whatever, to be one of us. You know what I mean? So the mindset shifting, but it got people talking about the American. The American is a hell of a conference, and a lot of I'm sure we'll talk Memphis here in a second, but they want it out, but. You got everything you need in the American.
Yeah. So do you think, kind of just going off of Memphis, because I believe they are a contender going into this year. I know you didn't want them to leave, but do you think, I guess you already tipped your answer, but they have everything they need right in the American, right?
Yeah. Obviously I'm coming with all kinds of bias. So yeah, I don't want them to leave, but the way it stands now, you look at last year, okay? Last year's a perfect example because Memphis wants to go to the Big 12, right? Mm-hmm. Last year had Tulane not laid a complete egg against Memphis, we would have been having Tulane was going to jump Arizona State or whoever was the Big 12 champion, if you remember this from last year. And then Tulane laid an egg against Memphis on Thanksgiving Day, and then they got smacked around by Army in the championship game. Mm-hmm. Now, that, in my opinion, had a lot to do with the quarterback situation and his slimy agent that had him on the way out before those games happened. But, from a national perspective, the Big 12 is not a better brand per se than the American. It was going to happen. You even had the national talking heads talking about Tulane. You had them talking about Tulane being better than Boise. You had them talking about Tulane being better than, I think it was Arizona State or Kansas State. And I think Colorado still had a slim chance to win at that point. So Memphis, now they got the funding and the facilities and the NIL and everything to do really whatever they want. I think they need to just, who cares what conference you're in? If you're Memphis, but also, hey, win the American. You know what I mean? A lot of these teams, sorry, I know we got a lot to get to. I'm starting to get fired up already. It's like all these teams, they want out of their conferences because they think their conference is so bad, and yet they don't win it. Memphis they won when they played Penn State in the
Cotton Bowl.
In the Cotton Bowl. So was that 2019 maybe, right?
Yeah, 2019.
They had game day on Beale Street, the whole deal. That's the last time Memphis won that conference. Now they're a contender every year, but I don't know. Worry about Army and Navy.
Yeah. Do you think and I know we're a football podcast and you're from a football podcast, but do you think the basketball aspect of it plays a role in this at all?
Yeah, especially being Memphis. Memphis, historically, I mean, I would almost say is a basketball school. I mean, when I was in college, when I was at middle, Memphis was horrendous in football. I mean, we had a real bad season or two when I was at middle, but Memphis, we did not ever lose to. So in basketball's, obviously Derrick Rose, they got Penny Hardaway as the coach right now. I think that plays a part in it. And I don't know enough about, sitting here off the top of my head, the Big 12 basketball wise.
It's good.
It's good.
It's a very good conference.
Pretty stout. Yeah,
it is. It's a pretty stout conference.
Yeah. Arizona. Yeah, you got Arizona State. Yeah, you got some
players in there. Kansas.
Oh,
is the big one.
Yeah.
Hey, you talk football. It's okay. You talk football. No, I mean, definitely. But that's the thing with the American. If you win the American Conference, you're almost a shoo-in. If you're 11-1, you're almost a shoo-in for the playoff now. So that's kind of why, and I understand Memphis, the basketball aspect, other sports, even football. But listen, I don't want to take shots or anything, but like Cincinnati thought they were too good for it. And now they're on year
not
2 of not
good.
making a bowl game. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think build that momentum and then make a run in the playoff. Do what Boise did and maybe backdoor your way into a bye.
Well, and we'll talk about this too, but you make the playoff. You do like Boise last year, right? And they get beat. I mean, they get beat pretty good. There was a couple points
they were in
that game.
There were.
Yeah, I mean, even towards the end when, look, they missed 2 chip shot field goals in that game. And had they made both of them, you were looking at, I think it would have been an 8-point game. Penn State would have had the ball. But at that point in the game, Boise was defensively playing incredible. So anyway, they lost by a lot. I mean, and they didn't, they never really, you never really thought they were going to win it. But now they come back this year, and the goal is not for them to just win the Mountain West. Their goal is like, hey, we're getting back to the playoff, and we're going to win one or whatever. And, make all the excuses you want. Every team that had a bye week lost last year.
They did.
Even Georgia, you know what I mean? All of them, they had a month off. But, look, you mess around and get a home game in Boise against a team from the South in January. Ooh.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So let's talk about some of those contenders. We already talked about one. Memphis, I think, is coming into this year looking to contend for the American. So besides Memphis, Matt, who else in the American Conference should be contending?
I love Navy this year. Ooh. Absolutely love Navy, and especially because their schedule last year, it was like this last year too, but their schedule lines up for them to potentially be sitting at like 8-0, 7-1. You got Air Force in there, who I think will be a little better. North Texas might be good offensively, but Navy is going to probably be 8-0, and then they go play Notre Dame. And then the problem is after they play Notre Dame is when they play the top teams in the American. I think they get South Florida. I think they get Memphis. And then they'll get Army, which won't count as a conference game. But Navy, I think, is really good. They bring back a lot. Blake Horvath, really good quarterback. If you watched Army at all last year, he's not as good a runner as Bryson Daly was, but I think he's a better thrower. And Navy will throw it a couple more times a game. Unlike the other 2 academy schools. So I think Navy's going to be really good. Their schedule, number one, just lines up for them to have all kinds of momentum late into the year. And then you never know. You never know what could happen against a Notre Dame. Memphis, we talked about. Tulane is interesting. I love Tulane. I love John Summerall, but we had Coach Summerall on our show like mid-spring, and he was kind of just like, we got a bunch of guys, man, but it's not proven. You know what I mean? They haven't played together. Now they get the last minute ad of the BYU quarterback, Retzlaff. So that adds a dynamic to Tulane that could be really scary. I haven't seen if they've confirmed, Summerall is going to give him the keys right away. He's a coach that does not care like who the name is, who's got the NIL. I mean, he is going to play. I mean, last year he played Darian Mensah, who went into camp as like the 4th guy. and not even any NIL. And he was like, don't care. He's the guy. So I like Tulane. They'll always have players. They're loaded on defense. Summerall's a defensive guy. I mean, it makes perfect sense. I don't think you can count out West Point either. I mean, yeah, they lose the quarterback, but they bring back some guys on the offensive line. They're just the academies. It's like next man up. They're still going to play the same exact style, but they bring back a lot of the offensive line. They are a fun O-line to watch, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, like freaking 5-foot splits. I mean, just running off the ball, 4-point stances. You know what I mean? It's like combination blocks, second level blocks. So I don't think you can count them out. The thing with the American is you talk about an 11-1 American team, probably, depending on what Boise does. I mean, they'll be the next one. But every year, like the top American teams just lay one egg a year, every single year. Tulane did it last year against Memphis. Should have been the top team in the group of 5 last year with the talent that they had, but they laid an egg against Navy and gave up like 50 points to Navy. And then you think, okay, well, maybe they weren't that good. Maybe Tulane's good. And then Memphis and Tulane play. And you're like, well, that's the Memphis we were thinking we were going to get. And what is this Tulane team? It's like every year they end up, so then they'll end up, 11-2. Tulane's got a tough non-conference. I mean, they play Northwestern, Duke, and then Ole Miss and they get South Alabama, who's pretty damn good too.
Yeah.
Thrown right in the middle of that. So they got a really tough. So they got to try to come out of there.
They have a shot. They have a shot against
3-1 would be great. Yeah, I think Northwestern, they might be favored against Northwestern.
Yeah.
Duke is in New Orleans. The quarterback comes back. A lot of storylines. Ole Miss will be tough at Ole Miss. I mean, that's but you never know. But anyway, they come out of that 3-1 or 2-2 even, and you still probably have a chance if you can get through the American unscathed. But I think those are the 4. And then UTSA, who every year seems like they have a lot of talent, and it just doesn't seem to happen. They play great at home always, but they've got the veteran quarterback in the American this year, Owen McCown, obviously the son of former NFL player. But so they've got some pedigree. They're able to get some guys. Those are your 4 or 5. I'd put Navy, Memphis as probably the 2 favorites, and I'd put Tulane, UTSA in there, and then you just got to look at how the schedule lines up about who's going to play in a championship game.
Yeah. Jay, anyone to add with there?
No. I mean, I feel like Matt really covered everything, right? Like, don't have too much to add.
Sorry.
Memphis. No, you're good. You're
You're
good.
good.
Memphis is obviously the team that I'm looking at as both a contender for the American Conference title, and then also as possibly one of the group of 5 teams to get a playoff berth. I look at their non-conference schedule. I think it lines up nicely. You have Chattanooga and Georgia State, who, yes, Georgia State pulled off the upset over Vanderbilt last year, but I don't think that Georgia State's going to be one of the better teams in the Sun Belt this year, which we'll get into. Troy, who's kind of really been rebuilding with Summerall gone, and now at Tulane. And then you have an Arkansas team where I wouldn't be surprised if this is a scenario that, Memphis goes or hosts Arkansas and is able to pull off the upset. And, we talked about it already. Pittman's on the hot seat. Everybody knows it. We're kind of surprised he's back this year. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a game where it kind of falls apart. Like if Memphis pulls off the upset, and again, this could be a scenario where Memphis may even be favored depending on what they have going on this season.
Memphis too, you wanted to, before you look at their roster, Seth Hennigan, it's not often you have a 4-year starter at quarterback, and he's gone. But they bring in Brennan Lewis from Nevada, who he's not Seth Hennigan. Like he's not. I don't think he's like a better quarterback per se, but he brings a little extra dynamic with his feet. That what's the phrase? The sum of all parts might end up being better just because he's going to be a pain to keep in the pocket,
especially in the college game.
100%, and especially when you're playing these really good defenses in the American that have pass rushers left and right. Anyway, one other team that I didn't mention, and the only reason I didn't mention them is because their schedule is just brutal. That's South Florida. I mean, they've got a schedule. Their first 3 games are harder than anybody's first 3 games in the country. SEC, Big Ten, whatever. They go Boise State at home. Then they go on the road to Florida. And then they go on the road to Miami. There's no Bethune-Cookman mixed in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everybody else, you know, yeah, they might have a big week 1 or a big week 3, but they got an FCS mixed in there. Not South Florida, man. And then their conference schedule is not easy either. So you look at, they could just be deflate. You know, they could be 0-3, and you went from, you know, you could still win the conference, but you're out of anything else at that point, probably. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm really big on South Florida, but that's what worries me is if they go down 0-3 to start the year, it's either going to like a fight or flight. It's either that they're going to come back and really be on a mission for the rest of the year, or it's we're down and we're not giving up, but they're just not going to have that same juice.
It's that snowball effect. It's like, here
Exactly.
we go again. Yeah,
exactly. And like, I like Byron Brown. Like, I think South Florida has guys. Listen, 60. I'm a huge retention guy. 67% retention with their production. I think that leads the American Conference, one of the best teams at retention going into the year. But yeah, that is the big thing that worries me about South Florida.
Yeah, and the health of Brown, you know, he's battled some injuries too. They're going to need him, and then you play a schedule like that. Not only do you have to worry about the record, like you're gonna have guys banged up after that stretch. Like you just, no question about it. So then, if you have some depth issues, then you're trying to catch up. You're just trying to get healthy, and then here comes Memphis, or here comes Tulane or Navy or Army. You know what I mean? So it's just like now if they somehow come out of there 2-1, or I mean 1-2, like 1-2, and if you don't get blown out by anybody, like, you know, because let's just play hypothetical here. Let's say they beat Boise and then they lose to Florida and Miami, and it's not by more than 20. Yeah, I mean, and then if they get through the American, and then maybe you're 11-2 American champion, well, then maybe Boise's 12-1 Mountain West champion, but you have a head-to-head.
You have the head-to-head.
Boise's also got Notre Dame in there, so we'll see what happens there. But I mean, if they can get out, I mean, 1-2 sounds like, I mean, it's going to be tough.
Yeah,
you know. But
when Boise's your easy,
when Boise's easier, and if that game, I mean, that game's at South Florida, so that's going to be a challenge for Boise. I saw them last year down at Georgia Southern, and it was like 100 degrees. Genty was cramping after all of his 80-yard touchdown runs. But I mean, Georgia Southern had a late lead against Boise week 1 last year. So something to look out for.
Yeah.
Do you have August in Tampa? I mean, it's definitely not going to be anything to sneeze at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, do you got a surprise team out of the American, like a team that might sneak up on people?
I don't think that they'll win a ton of games, but I think they'll beat somebody that they shouldn't. North Texas. They got this quarterback from Albany, Reese Poffenbarger.
Oh, hey. I'm repping the
Danes. Yeah. Dude is special now. And he goes to an Eric Morris offense. They're not going to be able to stop anybody, but they're going to have a game or two where they score 60 points and give up 59, and they're going to beat whoever, you know, whenever Memphis or Tulane lays that yearly egg, it's going to be North Texas that puts up 60 points and beats them. So I look for North Texas to screw up somebody's season.
Yeah. The one thing too with North Texas is they do have a new, like, I'm not expecting an Eric Morris team to be a defensive powerhouse ever. But Skylar Cassidy coming in from Sam Houston and what he was able to do at Sam Houston,
some guys too,
could make a big difference there for UNT.
Yep.
So my surprise team, I really like ECU. Again, I don't think they're going to win a whole bunch of games. I really like how Blake Harrell, how they ended last season. I am cautious because sometimes the interim getting the head job does not always equate that same magic that he gets after the guy was the original coach was fired. I don't know. I just they seem to be buying into that program, and I really think East Carolina is one of those programs that can be on the rise because they're another one that when they get going, they have everything they need right there.
100%. They got arguably the best stadium in the group of 5,
So
biggest,
beautiful.
and their fans support them. So
Mhm.
you mess around and beat NC State week 1.
I
You
think
know?
we'll all be. I think we're all Pirates headed. I like Dave Dorian. I like him, but
Be-
I think a lot of us are going to be Pirates.
Now you remember that bowl game last year when
I
ECU
know.
beat them and it
Yes.
ended in a brawl. So that game is going to be just electric.
Yeah. Jay, do you got a surprise team for us?
Yeah, so I have 3 that I'm looking at with new coaches that I just think are kind of, maybe different types of hires all in their own way. And I don't know that any of these teams is going to be any good because they're all 3 massive rebuilding projects.
Mhm.
But from a surprise aspect, I feel like one of these teams is going to end up surprising a lot of people this year. The 3 teams I'm talking about is first Rice, who obviously has completely shifted offensive mentality. I think this is the one I'm least confident on them shocking people. Just because I think they're going to have to completely overhaul everything that's going on in that program. Program's not in a great place. And you're going to a creative option offense. I don't really know how to describe what Abel does. I mean, that Rice is going to try to run the ball. That's what I can say with 100% confidence. But I'm interested to see how that offense plays out at a place where obviously it's probably a little closer to the service academies with like the restrictions on that program, the academic side of things. So it makes sense to go in that direction. The second one I'm looking at is Tulsa with Trey Lamb. Just another kind of an interesting hire. Tulsa is it's one of the smallest, if not the smallest, in FBS enrollment. I think it's like right there with Wake Forest, neck and neck for smallest school. Trey Lamb was obviously the East Tennessee State head coach. So he comes into Tulsa, and it's just a complete overhaul here. I think, you talk about money in the current age. Tulsa's not a program that's going to have a ton of big money donors. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. I'm just kind of like buying his camp videos that I've seen. Like I've liked what I've seen from Trey Lamb, and I could see them surprising some people. The third one, and the one I think is most likely to surprise folks, is Casey Keeler at Temple. I mean, Casey Keeler is just such a great coach. We saw what he's won everywhere he's been. He's won at Delaware. He's won at Sam Houston State. 10-win season last year. Like that's considering, and we'll talk about Sam Houston State and their situation later. But considering what the football is like at Sam Houston State, it's really incredible what he was able to do there. So I really think Temple can come in and shock people right away. Again, I could easily be wrong because all 3 of these are going to be massive rebuilds. But of those 3, Temple is the one that I think I have most high as my surprise team.
I love Casey Keeler. We said it on our new hires episode, especially if he can get just a couple guys from New Jersey, like a big name or 2 from Philly, a big name or 2 from Jersey, anywhere in the DMV area. Get a guy from Penn State, get a guy from Rutgers, get a guy or 2 from Maryland, and now you're looking at a way better program. And here's the other thing: in Philadelphia, those aren't Penn State fans in the city of Philadelphia. They are Eagle fans, so they're not on the Penn State bandwagon for the most part. So you can really get a lot of those Eagle fans who don't pay attention to college football into college football with Temple. It can happen.
It wasn't that long ago when Temple was that team. Temple was playing Notre Dame in prime time like a couple years ago.
They lost by like 10.
And nobody thought anything of it. I mean, it wasn't anything like, oh my God, look at this group of 5. No, it was like Temple's damn good on defense. They got linebackers all over the place. Yeah, what was that redhead linebacker they had?
Oh man,
Matakevich or something. You see a like crazy, European name. But anyway, yeah, you're right, Temple, and you're so right on Philly too. And Philly, it's like, it's not Miami or Atlanta where there's just like 1,000 guys that can play D1 football, but a couple hundred probably.
And you go across that bridge, New Jersey is a huge hotbed. I don't think New Jersey gets enough credit for the amount of studs they have over there. So you can get a couple guys that come across the bridge you might get something there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that Casey Keeler hire. Sprouse, before we move on, I do have one thing to ask you, or at least kind of something to tell you. I am so in on Tim Albin at Charlotte. I think it is grand slam type hire. I know he's older, and Charlotte is, I don't know, seems like a team that just everyone forgets about. But I love that Tim Albin hire. I just want to hear you kind of go off on it.
Charlotte is a place that's waiting to erupt. Go to a Charlotte game and they're 2-9 and their student section is rocking and their tailgate scene is rocking. Let them, all these Carolina schools have, I don't know what it is about Carolina. Maybe it's because their Power 4 football schools are not like the best, maybe.
Well, you think
But
of them as basketball schools.
Right.
Oh,
Exactly.
yep.
So you got people that are App State football fans and Duke basketball fans, or you got people, it's not, they don't ride the same. So we talked about ECU a few minutes ago, but Charlotte is just sitting there in a place where, again, you got players all over the place. They got support for such a young program. They've got support. That stadium they can expand it whenever they want to. Which I don't like that idea per se. I rather keep your small stadium full than build a big one and have it half empty. But It's neither here nor there. But Tim Albin, you're right. Doesn't it feel, we were talking about this when we did the American, doesn't it feel like Tim Albin was at Ohio for like 45 years? Yeah. He was there for like a couple. It just felt, like when I was looking at it, I was like, there's no way this is only like his 5th year.
Well, he took over after
he was there for a while, but
what was the old coach's name at Ohio? I can't think of his name.
Can't put me on the spot.
He coached at Nebraska. Come on, Jay, help me out.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because I can't let us.
We're all gonna kick ourselves here.
Yeah,
Solich.
Yeah,
yep.
Solich. Yeah. Well, yeah, Tim Albin, and I mean, that guy took over that program. They played for a conference championship, I think, in year 2, and then obviously they won it last year in the MAC. And so you go to a place like Charlotte that's got some resources, that's got some stuff behind it. And as Biff Poggi told us last year, it's the #1 de facto banking city in the world, whatever that means to getting money and donations.
I was a little shocked by that, just the amount of money that they're pumping into that program now. And I'm like, yo, this is exciting.
Yeah, Charlotte, I mean, again, like all your other ECU fans, your App fans, they're not going to like it, but no. Charlotte is real close. They got some guys. I mean, they're one that they'll run the ball. They'll be good on defense. A lot of these teams in the American, like the 3 you mentioned, you look at FAU, like they're going to have these guys, but then you look at the schedule and you're just like, yeah, well, they're not going to beat Memphis. They're not going to beat two. You know what I mean? You get 5 deep in the schedule and you're like, they're not winning those ones. Yeah. But anyway,
who is your pick? If you had a pick right now, who do you take to win the American?
UTSA is beating Navy in the American championship game. Almost solely because of the way their schedules lay out. But that's what I picked on our show, so I got to stick with it.
All right, Jay.
I'll go Memphis over Navy.
Okay, very nice. I'm taking the bait with South Florida. Again, love retention, and I'm gonna say this: if they get out of those first 3 weeks healthy, I think it's gonna mean the world to them, because you get out of there, you play good football, and now you get that confidence as, hey, we lost, but we can hang with anybody. I think that's almost going to benefit. I'm banking on it benefiting them rather than, killing their soul. And I'm going to say USF's going to beat Memphis in the championship game.
Like it.
All right, we're going to move on to Conference USA here. Conference USA. I think there's a solid contender for everyone, but I'm not sure. Almost like Kentucky. Is Liberty the team to beat in the Conference USA this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Western's the other one.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the two. I mean, it's Liberty's to lose. I think Liberty just from a resource standpoint, from an everything standpoint, it just has, they're like Memphis and they all want out of Conference USA. But again, hey, worry about Jacksonville State before you start worrying about going to the ACC or something.
Mm-hmm.
But from a resource standpoint, from a crowd support, they by far, I mean, just far and away, better than anything else in Conference USA. And I think, last year was like an unacceptable year. Some of the real delusional fans were calling for Jamie Chadwell's head, but it was like, they lost that weird fluke to Kennesaw State.
Yep.
But other than that,
they
still would have been in the conference championship. Yeah, they weren't New Year's Six good. But they also had a big, their quarterback situation last year with Caden Salter, and he was, they.
Do you think he knew he was? Do you think?
100%. He got in the portal last year. He was going to get in the portal last year, and they like all these teams do. They beg and plead and offer him the world to stay, but then it's never the same. It's just never the same from a locker room standpoint. It happens everywhere. I mean, it's not just a Group of Five thing or a Liberty thing. It's these guys, again, I'm joking, but these freaking agents get in their ears and start promising them the world and telling them things they want to hear or don't want to hear. And then, I mean, half the time these guys got a NIL deal and nobody on either coaching staff has any idea about it.
Yep.
And, he wanted to get in the portal last year. I think he wasn't the same. I mean, he didn't have even close to the same season he had last year. So I think stuff like that has a big effect on the locker room. Especially a place like Liberty. They've got some standards too. Love them or hate them. Okay. Yeah. They're supposed to have standards, Jake. All right.
Depends on if it's on a boat or not.
That was the old guy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, but you know what I mean? I mean, like, they got a reputation to try to.
That is true.
Try to uphold. But, I think that was a big distraction. But I think this year, they do lose. I mean, you do lose the quarterback. You lose Quentin Cooley, the running back. But they bring back a much better defense than they've had the last couple of years. And that was kind of their issue the last few.
Yeah, 60%. Again, I love retention. 60% retention, a lot of it on defense. Again, you lose Salter, but I'm not familiar too much with their quarterback situation after Salter's gone. But listen, if you're going to have a guy that's all in, maybe it's better to have a guy that's all in than someone else that's, dipping his toes somewhere else.
100%. I don't think that anybody playing in college football is like purposely playing bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I promise you there's an extra level of give a crap when it's a guy that they like behind them. I mean, yeah, that was a mess. I'm trying to be a professional here, but but that was a mess. And you can blame agents and parents oftentimes.
Yes. So. Jay, anything to add there?
Yeah, Western Kentucky is the one that I'm looking at. Because I think a lot of people look at Liberty, but Western Kentucky, I think, has had a strong presence with Tyson Helton. I think they're going to continue to have good offenses up there. All new coordinators this year for Western Kentucky, so I am interested to see kind of how that plays out. But I feel like that you're going to have a good offense with Western Kentucky. It's a matter of them stepping up on the other side of the ball. We'll see
how Western Kentucky manages to get an FCS transfer from Abilene Christian or Houston Christian and a coordinator that comes with them every single year, and they don't miss a beat, man.
Hey, great name too. Maverick McIver is the.
He's got to be good.
He's got to be
right.
Good. Yeah, he has to be.
They'll be really good offensively for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Liberty's the team to beat, just like Matt's saying. Western Kentucky's going to be there. Jacksonville State's going to be there, but they're losing so much. I feel there's a lot of turnover there. Same thing with Louisiana Tech. I think they're down at the moment. So I feel like it's going to be Liberty's to lose. I feel like those other teams are still going to be in the mix. moving over to my surprise team again. These surprise teams, I'm not saying they're going to win the conference, but listen, I think Kennesaw State can win some games.
Really?
I'm like 6-6, 6-6, 7-5, maybe. I'm telling you, they're returning 82% of the team. They are returning a lot. I love it. I think that Kennesaw State is going to be the team. The other one we're going to talk about, Matt, which I'm surprised you haven't talked about yet, unless it's your surprise team, Middle Tennessee State. I think can win 7. I think they can go 7-5. I've already placed my bet. Middle Tennessee over 4.5.
Oh yeah,
hammer it.
Done deal.
Hammer. That is my locked in bet. Please bet responsibly. But that is my hammering bet. Middle Tennessee over 4.5. I think they're going to crush it. I think they're going to go 7-5.
Can I just say, have you seen the new facilities in Murfreesboro?
Beautiful.
I mean, arguably. Now I've not seen them in person yet. Jeff has, he lives there still, so he's seen them in person. I would venture to say, outside of not yet having an indoor facility, the weight room, the locker room, the meeting rooms are arguably the best in the group of 5. And we've been screaming this from the mountaintops for a decade, even before a podcast or anything. You put some resources into that place. I mean, you're talking Murfreesboro is 20 miles from Nashville. Nashville, with its growth, the high school football in the state of Tennessee. I mean, talk about Charlotte getting ready to blow up, buddy. Middle is just waiting. And you're in a conference that right now, outside of Liberty and Western, is wide open. I mean, it's a bunch of new teams every year. But I say all that to say, based on some conversations, people around the program, my sources close to the program, tell me they love the team this year. Nick Vadiato has been the quarterback there for a long time. He's phenomenal. They love the receiver room. They got some burners. It's one of those situations where, you don't know I don't know if these receivers are really good. The corners are really bad, maybe a little bit of both, but I'm being told in practice that it's freaking greatest show on turf out there. Now, Nick Vadiato's been the quarterback there. They've had good receivers there. They haven't been able to block anybody for 5 years now. So that's the question mark. If they can give him just an ounce of protection, they'll be really good. I mean, because they've got skill all over the place in Murfreesboro.
Oh, love it.
Jeff thinks they're going to win the conference. I'm not getting on that.
Listen, I looked at their schedule.
It's the most favorable.
8-4. I'm telling 8-4 is on the table.
We have historically had a schedule like South Florida has this year, where it's like week 1, you're in Ann Arbor at Michigan. Week 2, you might be at home against Austin Peay. Week 3, you're in Tuscaloosa. Week 4, you're in Athens. And it's like, what the hell, man? You go 7-5 with 3 of like the best 3 teams in the world on your schedule, and everybody's calling for the coach's head. And it's like, who'd you want them to beat there? Which game did you want them to win out of that? But this year they don't have that. They got Wisconsin, but Wisconsin is not going to like overwhelm you in the way that, a Georgia or Alabama or some of those other teams will. So they got a very favorable schedule, very favorable conference schedule. Hey man,
I love them. I love the Blue Raiders.
We can only pray for a redo at a conference championship in Murfreesboro.
Jay, you got a surprise team?
Yeah, I do. And it's UTEP.
The Miners. Yes.
I think that you look at Scotty Walden, obviously, comes in with a lot of energy. Last year was tough for the Miners, but I'm looking at kind of the way they closed out the season. They get the big win in the Battle of I-10 over New Mexico State. Obviously, the Tennessee loss doesn't look good, but you had games with Louisiana Tech and Middle Tennessee that were both 1-score losses. I feel like this is a team that just had fight all year. I don't think they played Liberty terribly. Like they lose that game 28-10 at Liberty. And you come into this year, I think they have a favorable home schedule. I think you're going to have some tough non-conference games. I think Utah State is going to be much improved under Bronco Mendenhall. And obviously you have Texas, who's the preseason number 1, as much as it hurts me to say it. But you look at the schedule, and I think UTEP has a real chance to make a run here. And I maybe this is me being a fan of Scotty Walden, the energy that he brings to the program, but I think UTEP's kind of waiting for something special to happen. I think this could be a very good year for the Miners, and I have them as my surprise team. And of course, I'll also be in attendance when they play Louisiana Monroe September 20th. So excited to cross the Sun Bowl off my bucket list.
UTEP, it's again, we talk about these other places. They're way the hell down there in El Paso. Like, that's not a Texas town or an A&M town. That's a UTEP. I mean, that's a UTEP town.
Yeah.
And their stadium is one of the best in the country. Mess around and win a couple games. But you're right, man. Scotty Walden is infectious. And I read this in the old Phil Steele magazine, and my numbers are going to be off because I don't remember. But something I read in there that Scotty Walden told him was last year they came out of summer workouts and like their average max squat on the team was like 365, which, okay, that's good for the novice. The college Division I college football program, that's not good. Not at all. And it's well over 100 pounds more than that now. So what that tells me is that's a young team. They hadn't been in a real weight program before, and they were very underdeveloped. And it also tells me they played a lot of guys last year that they were like, you know what, man, let's get these guys some experience because they're going to be here with us, through the duration of this thing. I like that pick. That pick quite a bit.
Matt, you got a pick for the conference?
Yeah, I'm going Liberty over Western. I think it's probably a safe bet, but
I'm also going Liberty over Western. Jay?
I'm going to go Western over Liberty.
Oh, nice. I knew it. I knew we weren't going 3 for 3 there. Absolutely knew it. Next one is one of my favorites. It's decently close to home. It's the MAC. And I think this might be the most fun a conference can be this year. Toledo, Tucker Gleason returns. Listen, this guy threw 2,700 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Vanderos, I think, is a receiver that is a little under the radar, maybe not in the group of 5 world, but is a guy that should be talked about more. So I do love Toledo. Listen, Parker Navarro's back at Ohio. Good for him because he's been hurt, correct?
We saw them in the bowl game last year. I think he played most of last year.
He played most of last year. I'm confused.
Were you thinking of Rourke whenever he was hurt?
I'm thinking of Rourke.
Yeah.
Thinking of Rourke.
Yeah, but Navarro's got, the dog in him, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
He can play, man. He can run it like crazy. And they get their running back from 2 years ago back, and Shea Bangura. Now they lose Tim Albin, but
that is true.
They lose a couple offensive linemen, but it's Ohio. Yeah, it's like some of these programs are just like, they are what they are, man. They're Ohio. They're going to run it. You know what I mean? They're going to run the ball. Navarro's going to run around out there. They'll be good. I wouldn't call them a favorite though this year. I think Toledo's loaded. Now but they always are. Like they're always the team in the MAC that, obviously geographically they probably got the most like high school talent local to them. They're always right there at the top, but they tend to lose some Tuesday night game that they got no business losing. But yeah, you mentioned Tucker Gleason. I mean, funny that he took over for DeQuan Finn, who now is also back in the MAC at another school. But Toledo's loaded all over the place. They always have their defensive backs are always good. I mean, they don't have Quinyon Mitchell on their team this year, but they got really good corners, really good safeties. From a talent standpoint, they far and away are the most talented in the MAC.
Yeah. Jay, anyone to add?
I feel like we got to talk about Miami of Ohio whenever we talk about the MAC. I mean, just what Chuck Martin's been able to do there and the history of that program. It's just, I can't bring up contenders in the MAC without touching on Miami at least a little bit. I think I favor Toledo here, but I'm maybe it's just the body of work from
Mm.
Yeah.
Miami of Ohio, but I feel like they have to be mentioned as a contender.
Yeah, they're my surprise team just because and DeQuan Finn comes back. Again, I don't know if you can consider Miami of Ohio as a surprise because again, they've been consistently good for a while, but DeQuan Finn coming in, listen, he did so well at Toledo and then he leaves and now he's coming back. So we'll see how the second coming of Finn how that does. But also Buffalo. I feel like Buffalo's
Love
returning.
Buffalo.
I'm worried about their quarterback situation
Yep.
because Taquan, no offense, I don't like taking shots at guys. Taquan Roberson's probably going to fill in. He's been hurt. He looked terrible at Penn State. He wasn't great at UConn. They got hurt. So I don't know about the quarterback situation, but I think defensively, I think they can be really good and give some teams some fits.
They got like a potential all-time good defense. They lose, like you think they lose Sean Dolak from last year, who had 1,000 tackles. They got Red Murdoch, who was just behind Dolak in total tackles last year. They got the defensive end Kobe Stewart, who's gonna get after these quarterbacks. Their quarterback's the question mark. They got a great running back. Al-Jay Henderson's phenomenal. Their offensive line's the best in the MAC. They got 2 or 3 all-conference guys on the offensive line. I look at Buffalo and Toledo. Like I think I give Toledo the edge probably at quarterback. I give Buffalo the edge on defense and probably a slight edge on the offensive line. Toledo's probably overall got better skill guys. But we'll get to my pick in a minute.
Yeah. Who's your before we talk about that, who's your surprise?
I like
If you have
Miami
one.
also. I think, anytime you got DeQuan Finn, Miami for the last couple of years, it's been like they've been so good on defense, but they've been so reliant on Gabbert and his health, and he always, he tended to be hurt. Finn provides a different level, a different dynamic than Gabbert. That in the MAC on a Tuesday night when it's 12 degrees, you can't throw it. So I like Miami. I like Bowling Green too a little bit.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like Bowling Green. This is bias. Does that take your pick? Go.
No,
I'm going to give you guys. I've been talking about this every time I talk about the MAC. I bring up we were at Bowling Green Toledo last year. Their center, Alex Padgett, is like the most fun. Him and the Army center, Brady Small, are like the most fun offensive linemen to watch because Padgett is like NFL tackle big, like 6'6" big, but he plays center and he pulls, he gets out on screens, and they had Harold Fannin last year. They had better guys in the skill spots last year, but that dude will get out there on a screen and he's 50 yards down the field and he's running stride for stride with an NFL tight end. And you're like, oh my God, dude, this guy's special, but he's back. But anyway, I'll let you take Bowling Green. Sorry.
No.
Never apologize. Bowling Green, obviously, to spoil it, is my surprise pick. And part of this is what I saw Eddie George do at Tennessee State. I think he looked like this isn't just an NFL name coming into a Group of 5 program and bring notoriety. Eddie George was a great football coach at Tennessee State. Like what I saw there was impressive. I think you add to that the fact that he is a former Ohio State guy, right? Like he has some ties within the state of Ohio. And you look at, some talent returning. Obviously, again, you lose Fannin. But I think this is a team that a lot of people are just kind of down on. And I think, they have the potential to be competing for that MAC championship at the end of the year. And I think the coaches poll had them at 6th in the conference. So from a pure surprising what people expect out of it, I think Bowling Green is a fantastic surprise pick for the MAC.
Very nice. Matt, who's your pick?
Buffalo over Toledo. This was my blind pick in April. And then I've just been selling myself. I went up to Buffalo last weekend and spent some time with Pete Limbo. He almost talked me out of liking Buffalo. I'm like, y'all are gonna be good. Like I'm digging. You know what I mean? I'm like, you guys
Mhm.
got a squad, right? And he's like, you know what, we got this. I'm like, coach, I'm like, you're gonna be good, dude. Like, dude, get on the train, brother. You're gonna win some games.
That may be Limbo avoiding some of that old rat poison that Saban
Yeah,
used to
that's
talk
right.
about.
Yeah, that's right. He's like, I've been doing this too long. You never get too high, never get too low. And I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah. You got guys, man.
let's get high this time.
that,
you know?
that
Yeah,
defense.
defense is loaded. Yeah.
Jay.
I'm going to take Buffalo over Miami.
Whoa.
pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to be all over the board here because I'm taking Toledo over Ohio.
Nice.
Can
pick.
that work? Wait, do they still have divisions?
Nope.
Or they're gone, right? Yeah.
Sunbelt's the only one with divisions now,
Okay. So yeah, Toledo over Ohio is my pick.
which I hate, by the way. Can I say that?
Sure.
Everybody thought that was like a good idea to get rid of divisions because you could get your best two teams. Like, I think the mindset of it all stemmed from like the SEC West from, 5-10 years ago, the SEC West, it was like Bama, Auburn, LSU. Oh my God, we're going to have to play Missouri in the championship game.
Yeah.
And now what happens is these conferences have so many freaking teams that you get two teams that don't happen to play.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the MAC. If you don't play Buffalo and Toledo, then here's your spot in the championship game. You know what I mean? And so anyway, I know we got to get moving.
Yeah.
But
And we almost had that situation play out with Colorado State last year in the Mountain West.
100%. 100% we did. Yep. And they would have played Boise and, anyway.
Which leads us to the Mountain West, the Mountain Best, as some people call it. Listen, the contender is going to be Boise again. They lose Ashton Genty, but this is still a very good football team. Maddox Matson returns. I think he's going to improve. And I think the most important thing, 4 out of 5 returning offensive linemen. I think their defense, and of course they got burned because of how they blitzed and everything like that, but their defense was wreaking a little bit of havoc in the pass rush against Penn State, who is a good offensive line. So I think Boise is poised for another playoff push. And I think you have a better shot of Boise winning the Mountain West. Like we talked about Liberty being the contender out of the Conference USA. I think Boise's even farther in the Mountain West than Liberty is in Conference USA. I think it's strictly theirs to lose.
I think Boise's better than they were last year. I got really bad news for everybody. Because, yes, you lose Genty.
Yes.
Can't replace it.
No.
Like you said, 4 out of 5 offensive linemen are back. 3 of those guys were injured or hurt almost all of last year. So they did all that. And then Sire Gaines, who was the number 2 back, who had a phenomenal game against Georgia Southern, which I was at, he got hurt. So now you have a banged up offensive line, and you're playing who's probably going to be your 4th running back this year, and Breezy Dubar as your number 2, who he's fine. But then you have Genty touching the ball 35 times a game. And then he gets, he has that elbow injury late. So then he's banged up. If you watch them late in the year, it seemed like Genty was like a step slower than he was early in the year. He was just getting used up, and his offensive line was banged up. Well, now you bring back, and all this assumes everyone stays healthy, right? I mean, it could happen again, but Sire Gaines he's not Genty. Okay.
No.
But look at Boise's running backs over the years. They always have one. I mean, it's not like Genty's the first one to come up. They always have a good one. George Helani had a hell of a preseason game the other night in Seattle. Well, he was there playing over Genty. And then all the Boise fans were like, we got a guy coming. Sire Gaines, it's not Genty, but you got a guy coming. Okay. And then they somehow plucked Malik Sherrod, who ran for 1,000 yards at Fresno State 2 years ago. So you're okay. You lose the Heisman, but it's almost like trading one superstar for 5 really good pieces.
It's Moneyball.
Yes.
It's Moneyball. It's okay. You lose this production, but we're going to recreate that production with these 2 or 3 guys.
And a healthy offensive line and a defense. You're so right about that. When we were talking earlier about the momentum in that game, there was a point like probably mid to late third quarter when Penn State, I mean, they couldn't get throw the ball. There was so much pressure on the quarterback, and now Hassanin is gone in Detroit. But they got Jaden Virgin Morgan is the guy who I think he had. I might be way off. 8.5 sacks, I think, last year, 8.5 or 9.5. Now he's going to be the focal point. So like he's not now. He's the guy getting getting the chip blocks and all that stuff, getting help from tight ends and running backs. But let's not pretend like Boise doesn't have another guy. I mean, they kept almost everything. You've been talking about retention. I mean, Boise kept anybody they wanted to keep. Outside of going to the NFL. I think you're right about Madsen too. I think, you look like, I don't think teams are going to be able to do what Penn State did and just put 8 guys in the box and just say, we're going to stop Genty and whatever else happens. And Madsen played fine. He played fine.
He did all right. Yeah. He had one bad pick.
He had late in the game. He tried to force some stuff and it was, you were like, damn it. But I think he'll progress. And then I don't think that they'll stack the box as much against these other guys. So you might. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to have 2,700 yards rushing.
I don't think they're going to be able to, though.
Correct.
Because if you're going to stack the box, I think Madsen against those secondaries is going to be able to kind of pick them apart. Yep. And where I think Penn State had dudes that, okay, we're going to lock you up and we're going to, force you to, run into 8 dudes.
They didn't, and they're still, I don't want to say lacking. They didn't have a true number 1 receiver really last year. Cam Camper was banged up late. He was like their tall, kind of go up and get it guy. But I think the tight end's big time. Matt Lauder, I think, is a big time player. He did have a good game. He had the touchdown against Penn State.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's one of those teams
around,
Yep. And I don't think you can really scheme like for anything in particular because I think they're pretty dang balanced. Assuming Madsen takes that another step that you think he's going to take.
Yeah. I don't have much to add. Boise State's my pick there.
Yeah.
They're good. Like I'm telling you, I don't even think that again, I know I'm biased. They're not, Liberty, I think is like group of 5 good, right? Like, they could, there's some power 4 teams that they're better than 2, but Boise, I think is like good. Like
Boise's going to give Notre Dame some problems for a little bit.
Maybe for a lot of it.
For a lot of it.
Maybe Notre Dame might give Boise some problems for a little bit.
How about that? Okay.
There we go.
Jay, do you got a surprise team for us?
Yeah, I do. Just because I think, and maybe I'm off base with calling them a surprise pick because I do think standards are higher right off the bat. But I think Bronco Mendenhall coming into Utah State is a team that's going to be a competitor right away. Just his history with the state, obviously was a former coach at BYU. I think what he did at New Mexico, even though New Mexico didn't end up going bowling, still as competitive as they were compared to what that program had kind of been struggling with. I think he hasn't lost a step. And so I think he comes into Utah State, kind of feels like he's home. And Utah State will be a competitor and a contender right off the bat this year.
Yeah. Matt, surprise team?
Can I give you 2?
Yeah.
San Jose State.
I like it.
And Hawaii. A lot of people are liking Hawaii, so it's almost making me want to like step back. Love their quarterback, Alejado. I'm probably saying that wrong. He's like a super undersized guy, left-handed quarterback. Right when Hawaii, left-handed, undersized quarterback. I mean, it just fits perfect.
Yep.
Timmy Chang's the coach. I mean, I'm thinking we might. The world and nobody dislikes Hawaii too. So
no,
they start winning, everybody's gonna love it.
Yes.
Midnight on FS1. You're gonna be watching Hawaii. I like them a lot offensively. I think they're gonna put up like old school Hawaii offensive type numbers. Not real sure about the defense. San Jose State, Ken Niumatalolo, like that guy is just a winner no matter what. They lose Nick Nash, but they're one that when we talk about these schedules, their schedule sets up pretty nicely for them in the Mountain West to find themselves making a run at a championship.
Very nice. I love both of them. Jay, I feel like I should be wearing that. My surprise team is Wyoming.
Really?
17 returning starters. They're gonna be better than their 3 wins last year. It's a new day and age in Wyoming, in Laramie. I like the Cowboy. Laradice, baby. I like Wyoming too. Hey, we're gonna make a bowl. We're gonna get back to Wyoming football.
Nobody. What about UNLV? What are you guys?
So, Matt, that was going to be my next question. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Dan Mullen at UNLV?
Dude, I have no idea. Mm-hmm. Like, you look at the roster and you think, oh, Dan Mullen, and you got these guys and you see transfer from LSU, transfer from like all these SEC guys. But you know, I rather you get a guy that transfers from Houston Christian that threw for 3,500 yards at Houston Christian than a guy that's played 6 snaps at LSU.
Yep.
Because, yeah, I mean, what that tells me, like, okay, he was good in high school. You know what I mean? They thought it tells me LSU thought he was going to be good, but so far we don't have proof. You know, hey, if there's anybody that can gather a group of misfits to play together, it's Dan Mullen. They should have some guys. Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to be quarterback. I think the kid from Virginia is going to beat the kid from Michigan, Orgy. But I don't know. I liked UNLV better last year.
Mm-hmm. With Barry.
Go offense.
With Odom, with Brennan Marion. And then, you know, I liked Matt Sluka, and then he had a big fiasco. And then the Hajj Malik Williams, speaking of transfers, right, from Campbell.
Yeah.
That guy comes in and he's better than Sluka was, or better than a lot, you know, so.
Fighting Campbells.
We'll see.
Yeah. My pick, I got Boise over who the hell knows? Colorado State. There we go. Boise over Colorado State.
Colorado State will be better.
Matt.
Boise over San Jose State.
I'll go Boise over Utah State.
Nice.
Ooh, there we go. All right, our last one, the Sun Belt. And here's the thing. I love, because I feel like we talked about this last year. You know, 15 years ago, the Sun Belt was the laughing stock of major college football. Oh, the Sun Belt. And it feels like the last 10 years, it's been like it's been one of the most fun leagues. This year, yes, the conference might be down, I guess, from last year's standards. But listen, 6 teams returned 50% of their production. 6. I think that is going to be huge for this year. James Madison is one that everyone's talking about. A huge running back room. Petaway, Knight, Mallory. They got the Ayo for North Texas.
Ayo Adeyi, I believe it is.
Adeyi?
Yep.
I don't know the health of their quarterback or who's going to be their quarterback. I think Sluka's in there. Barnett was the guy, but then they got this Coleman from Richmond who might be the guy. So there's a lot of questions there. Listen, I love, and Matt, I really want to hear your opinion on this. I love Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
Like, I think Clay Helton is doing a good job there. And I really think Georgia Southern can really make some noise and potentially win the Sun Belt.
Yeah, I like Georgia Southern. I love James Madison. In the East, Georgia Southern, you know, in Helton's first year, I've been saying this since he got there, they overachieved big time in his first year. And then so in Statesboro, they were like, oh my God, now 11 wins or we got to fire the guy. And it's like, well, pump the brakes. JC French is the first quarterback that he's been able to have and attempt to develop. Every year for them, except for starting last year, it's been a 1-year guy. Let's rent a quarterback, see what happens. French is the first guy that's been there, developed under Helton, and he's now back for his second year. They got a really good offensive line. You look at them last year, they had a couple games where they had a couple games. They had a game against Marshall where they came back and ridiculously won, but they also had some games that went the other way for them in that same sort of fashion. So they were close last year. And I've talked about it twice on the show now. They had, I'm telling you, they had Boise State down to the wire with a lead. And they just,
that was a hell of a game.
An awesome game, shootout type of game. James Madison, Alonzo Barnett's supposed to be the guy, but he's been banged up. They bring in Sluka, reuniting with his coach. Sluka, he'll do it with his feet. He wasn't a great passer, at least not at UNLV. You talked about the running back room, James Madison, offensive line. They're known for it, right? But James Madison defense is, their defense is just, I think, what is it, 19 points a game last year? Something like that. They've not, I'm trying to pull up some notes from my Sunbelt show. Yeah, James Madison, they've not allowed 21 points per game in any year since 2016. It's James Madison's defense. Emmanuel Bush, 6'1", 320, the interior defensive line. They bring in, I don't know how to say his name, Aiden Gobera from Notre Dame to play defensive end, 6'5", 250. They're just like, I don't know where you beat them. And the other part about James Madison is, we're talking about Boise State. We're talking about an American champion. Do yourself a favor and look at James Madison's schedule. I know the Sun Belt's tough. It'd be tough to get through the Sun Belt unscathed. But they play Liberty in the non-conference, which is a good resume builder. They'll probably be favored against Liberty. It is in Lynchburg, so that'll be tough. That game, James Madison and Liberty, talk about just two complete opposite fan bases and like types of people. That's going to be the only reason, and I'm still talking, the only reason I'm not going to that game is because it's Middle's homecoming game, and I can't get up here and preach about supporting the school you went to and not go to my own school's homecoming game. But anyway, the other team that's a favorite and maybe the favorite is Louisiana. Ragin' Cajuns out west. They bring back a lot. They bring back they bring in a transfer quarterback that the people in Lafayette love, Walker Howard. I think he's an LSU guy. I think he's a hometown kid. Is he from Lafayette or he's from the state of Louisiana anyway?
I think he's from Louisiana.
He's
from
he's from Lafayette. He went to St. Thomas More.
Hometown kid. They're really excited about if he can just be decent. They're going to run the hell out of the ball. They're going to be good on defense. I think it's weird. The Sun Belt, I think, is typically it's like super balanced. I think it's as top heavy as it's been in a long time. And I don't think that's because it's down. I just think that Louisiana and James Madison and Georgia Southern are up. And I think Louisiana too, right? Like James Madison plays Liberty and Louisville in their non-conference. Louisville's not scaring anybody. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, oh, we hope we don't get blown out. That's like, we can go win that one. And in Louisiana, I believe plays Missouri, is their big non-conference. So
they'll be tough.
Yeah, they'll be tough.
It's going to be tough.
But both of them got a chance because they only have like that one game. It's like, okay, Boise's got to play Notre Dame. Navy's got to play Notre Dame. Louisiana's got to play Missouri. So, at the end of the year, if any of these teams are sitting there at 11-1, 10-2, like that's what they're going to look at. That's what the committee's going to look at. It's like, okay, you got through your conference, but you played Missouri and this happened. You played Notre Dame and this happened. You played Louisville, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Matt, your surprise team and then your pick for the Sun Belt.
My surprise team. Okay, I have a couple. Sorry. Old Dominion.
Ooh, okay.
I think is
Like it.
they got a chance. Colton Joseph came on the scene last year at quarterback. He's a pretty dynamic player.
Mhm.
And then how in the hell they still have Jason Henderson at linebacker at Old Dominion? He's my math is going to be off. He's something like 130 tackles away from breaking Carlton Marshall's all-time tackles record. Another group of 5 guy, by the way, at Troy. And he's had over that in 2 seasons. So he's got a chance. And then South Alabama, I think, is going to be just really good on the offensive line. And you guys still got me, by the way?
Oh yeah, we're still here.
I can't see you
Yes,
guys anymore.
we got
Oh no, keep talking.
I'm getting going.
Oh no.
South Alabama, I think, is going to be really good on the offensive line. It's really unfortunate that Gio Lopez left. But you look at last year, they lost 3 conference games by 2, by 4, and by 7. Otherwise, they're in the conference championship a year ago. They bring back Kentrell Bullock at running back. He had 831 yards as the second guy last year. So they bring back a pretty good offensive line. Their O-line last year gave up 17 sacks, 5.8 yards per carry, and right about 200 yards per game rushing. So Kentrell Bullock, if you do college football fantasy, you guys are going to have 150 yards a game. So
Very nice. Love it.
There you
Jay?
go. Yeah, so for me, I have when I'm looking at my
Surprise.
you want me to give surprise or do you want me to give okay. Go to the surprise team. I think it's Southern
Same.
Miss. I
Same.
think you just look at how much like what their record was last year and then how much Huff is bringing with him to Hattiesburg. I think it's a no-brainer that Southern Miss is going to
Love Southern Miss.
Marshall University at Hattiesburg, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's going to be my pick too. That's my surprise team, and then my pick for the conference: James Madison over Southern Miss in the Sun Belt. Matt, did you give your final pick?
No. Give me Louisiana over James Madison.
Ooh, okay. And Matt, I know you got to go, but I do have 2 questions for you really quick. One, are we seeing the demise of App State? Because I feel like they're trending down. I know, and that's a cool fan base, awesome setting. Not bowl eligible for the first time. They transitioned to FBS last year. Are we starting to see that because there's more resources being popped into some of these other Carolina teams? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. I like Dow Loggins. He brings a bunch of NFL experience there. Last year, I don't think they were as bad. Like, you go back and you look at their games that they lost, and it was like 2 or 3 just horrendous, like lapses that would be an 80-yard touchdown. And like, I know I'm saying it wasn't that bad, but like that's what made it terrible. Like every down, it wasn't terrible. It was like, what was that? It's like one play, a drive that led to them giving up 70 points to Clemson, but it was all big. You know what I mean? It wasn't just 8 yards, 8 yards, 8 yards. It was like -1 +3, 87. Yeah. So I hope not, man. And I don't think so. I'm with you. I've questioned it too, especially like you said, with Charlotte sitting there and getting some resources, but I don't know. I think they'll be fine.
And then the last thing, I saw it on Herd Bros, which I know you guys kind of interact with. How cool would a new Pac-12 Sun Belt challenge be?
I think they should do it across the board. I don't even think that should be like a group of 5 thing, especially if there's anything in state that you could do. I mean, get Texas State to come on back over to this Sun Belt.
Yeah.
There you go. Matt, tell the people where we can find you.
Yep. All my socials personally are at Sprouse_68. Group of 5 guys on every social platform at Group of 5 guys. We're live every Monday night at 8. Although once the season starts, we'll be live Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, man. I know you wanted me to give you my final 4. but
I mean,
this
do
just
you want to
off,
do it really quick? Do you want to do
off
it really
the cuff.
quick?
Off the cuff. Okay.
Off the cuff.
So give me Boise State
All right.
to get a home game and win it. It's going to set up perfectly where they play, somebody not great and then somebody else not phenomenal. They're going to get there. Give me Boise State in the Final Four.
Okay.
Okay. Give me Penn State.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Give me probably Georgia. I'm going to take. Maybe give me like a wild card here. Hold on here. Give me a second. Give me like, man, I don't know, but it'd probably be like Ohio State or Texas or whoever loses. Whoever
State,
loses
sounds good.
that week 1 game. Yeah, give me Ohio State. Ohio State,
There
Penn
you go.
State, Georgia, Boise State. Not bad.
There it is. There it is. Make sure you follow Matt. And listen, jump on their live stream that's about to happen in 9 minutes because we got to get him out of here. Matt, thank you again for coming on. Everyone, check out Group of Five guys. They're the absolute best in that world of college football. And from all of us at the Get Back Coach,